not in the sauna. Not yet. I will be in the sauna soon, but I needed to do a live stream first before I got all sweaty and gross. So that's why I'm not in the sauna yet. Soraya Garfield. Say hi as you're hopping on so I know that you're here. And we're going live on the Instagram as well. Just the multiple lives. I'm all here and in it for the multiple live streams. See if Facebook actually tells anyone I'm live. I just keep getting cock blocked on the Facebook. Hello, hello. Tell me where you're watching from. Say hi so that I know that you're here. Super excited to be sharing a little bit of information with you today on how I hack my life. I think I titled this live stream something like Love, Money, Power, Respect. How to hack your life with clearing elemental imbalances. And I wanted to just get on today and share a little bit about this amazing tool that I use to hack my life and talk about why we actually do what we do and how we identify where we need to clear things and the impact that that can have in our life. So that's what I'm going to be sharing today. Leslie just joined, and she's one of my emotional resonance clearing practitioners actually, but she's also on my team. And I feel like you're probably really proud of me because I've been going live every single day. Can you believe it? Even though I'm not getting great engagement on Facebook right now, because I'm pretty sure I'm shadow banned, I have been still going live every day, and it's felt great. I haven't done this in my business for a really long time. So it's been awesome to be kind of here chatting. And I've been doing more lives on Instagram, which I've never done, and I've been getting really great engagement on Instagram. So go Instagram. Yeah, so Leslie's like, she's super proud of me. So yeah, tomorrow I am hosting a intro to emotional resonance clearing workshop where I'm going to be diving deeply into teaching everyone that's there at the workshop how to self-clear. And so I wanted to talk today, I wanted to share with you today why this is even important, why you would even want to do this, why you would even want to teach yourself or learn how to do this. And I guess the first thing that I would say is that if you experience any type of emotional imbalance in your life, it's important for you to understand that those emotions, they're actually pathology, and they exist, and you have the reactions that you do because there is an imbalance in one of your organs. And so especially when you are having emotions that are, you know, going in alternating extremes, right? Like you're happy one minute, you're sad the next, or, you know, anytime you're experiencing any kind of mental health issues like depression, anxiety, things like that, these all stem from elemental imbalances. So having the ability to have a tool like emotional resonance clearing really gives you just a hack of how to bring yourself energetically and emotionally back into balance. And I mean, it's, you know, I clear every single day. And, you know, today I did in one of my programs, I did some clearing, and we cleared what was getting in the way of us stepping fully into creation. And we cleared anything that was getting in the way of our desire to manifest. And we cleared We also cleared some stuff around form, but that had to do with the actual program that I was in, so I won't go into that too much. But, oh yay, Laura got a notice that I'm live. So I want to talk a little bit about, I'm just going to share a little bit with you on this live stream about the different elements and about the types of issues that we can bring into balance in these elements. So emotional resonance clearing, which is my modality, is based on a 5,000 plus year old or 4,000 plus year old body of work that is 5-element theory, kinesiology, NLP, the Chinese meridian systems and organs of the body. We use acupressure points to clear the stuck and stagnant emotional pathology from the organ systems. And then we take it a step further than most emotional clearing modalities do, in that we then make a brain to body connection. We create a break in the primary question that's been formed to give you an ability to reinforce a new positive proclamation, and then, you know, not be a slave to your emotional pathology and not be operating on autopilot because you have continually reinforced negative imprints, emotional and energetic imprints in your body. So I want to talk a little bit about this because I want to share with you the whys of this and why this might be something that you would be interested in doing. And there's definitely more information if you want to know more information on this modality, on 5-element theory. I have a free Facebook group called The Element Factor that I co-facilitate with my friend and business partner, Michelle Patrick. And you can definitely hop over there. We've got like a 6-hour training series in there that's free, where you can learn more about this if you're intrigued or interested. And then at the end of this, if you're like, wow, I really want to know how to do this for myself, you can come join me in the Intro to ERC clearing workshop that I'm doing tomorrow, which I'm super excited about. It's the first one that I've done, where I'm actually giving this information to the public and not just to my practitioners. So we have a practitioner training program where we people learn the entire body of this work and can go out and do this work in the world with people. But I really wanted to be able to get this into the hands of more people so that you could begin actually bringing yourself into balance, so that you can become your own inner healer, your own inner physician, diagnose yourself, and, you know, take the first steps of bringing yourself back into alignment. So in 5-element theory, there is what's called the Sheng Cycle. And in 5-element theory, all of the elements operate in relation to one another. So each element has a mother element, each element has a child element. Each element controls another element, and each element is controlled by another element. So if you look just here at this cycle, we begin with fire, and fire is the mother of earth, earth is the mother of metal, metal is the mother of water, water is the mother of wood, and wood is the mother of fire. So you can see that all of these elements, they interact with each other. Fire controls metal, metal controls wood, wood controls earth, and earth controls water. Water controls fire. So there's a real symbiotic relationship between all of the elements. That's the first thing to know. And it's really important because when we start to recognize and realize how everything is elemental, we are all elemental beings. We are all elemental by nature. When we start to realize that and recognize that, then we can learn how the elements interact together, and how when we bring one into balance, it may throw the other one out of balance. But when we understand the relationships between them, we can get to a place where we're operating in a state of relative balance as a whole being. So, and this is a lot of the stuff that we teach in the practitioner training, and definitely in that group, the element factor. Like, there's a lot of really, really great information on the elements and on the 5 spirits that are associated with each element, which I won't go into on this live stream, but you should definitely check it out if it's something that you're interested in. If you're watching on Instagram, you can go to the link in my bio and it will take you to the Facebook group. It's called The Element Factor. And if you're here on Facebook, you can just search The Element Factor and request to join the group. So I want to take you on a little bit of a journey through these elements, and I want to tell you a little bit about what potentially are some of the things that could be happening with you and why you would want to be able to clear them and what types of things we can clear. So we'll start in the fire element. And the fire element, all the elements have a spirit associated with them, a 5 spirit. And we talk about that in the element factor, so I'm not going to go too much into that. But the 5 spirit associated with the fire element is the Shen. And we alchemize this element, or we attempt to bring this element into balance, because what it gives us is the ability to truly know ourselves. It gives us clear thought and consciousness. So this is the place where if this element is out of balance, you're going to have insomnia, you're going to have dream disturbed sleep, you're going to have anxiety, you're going to have a difficulty concentrating, you're going to feel restless, and this is a place also where we really struggle giving and receiving love. So if this is a theme in your life where you have difficulty giving and receiving love, you have difficulty knowing like when it's appropriate to open up to others or when it's appropriate to shut down. You have issues with closeness and intimacy, either in your platonic or romantic relationships. You feel confused, you have issues with clarity and confusion, and maybe you just overall don't feel that happy sometimes. Like this is the place where you would clear inside this fire element, because the primary emotion associated with fire is joy. And the types of primary questions that we imprint as a result of stuck and stagnant emotional pathology in the organs that are associated with the organs and energy centers that are associated with the fire element are, primary questions like, am I lovable? Why do I go up and down so much? How can I truly relate to others? How can I find true happiness? And how can I sort things out? So repetitive imprinting of emotional pathology in the fire element, in the organs and energy centers that are associated with the fire element, which is the heart, the small intestine, the pericardium, and then the triple burner. When we repetitively imprint emotional pathology in these organs and energy centers of the body, and that emotion becomes stuck and stagnant, after a period of time of continually imprinting that, we form these primary questions. And what happens with these primary questions is it takes away our ability to operate from a place of neutrality when things happen and arise in our lives. And instead of operating from a place of neutrality, we're operating from a place of reactivity. And when we operate from a place of reactivity, then it's like we're literally on autopilot. So it's like I get into a new relationship with somebody, or I'm in an intimate relationship with somebody, and I continually keep shutting down. And even though I don't want to do that, even though, I may be working on it, I may be trying not to do that, it's like I continually keep shutting down. And ultimately, like, I end up always being like, what's wrong with me? Am I lovable? Like, why am I repeating these patterns? Why can't I sort this stuff out? So for me, I think that, when it comes to love and intimacy and relationship with self and others, and then our ability to have that pure, clear consciousness, like this is the element that we go to identify, do we have an elemental imbalance? Do we have stuck and stagnant emotional pathology? So like, for example, some of the emotional pathology that can get stuck in the fire element is self-doubt, sadness, depression, issues like feeling accepted, issues with compassion. And then in the small intestine, we can have a lack of joy. This is the place where, like, if we're really miserable, like, we can imprint that emotional pathology where we feel vulnerable or we want to withdraw from people. And then the pericardium is a place where we can really feel exposed and unprotected. And fluctuating emotions also get imprinted here in the pericardium. And in the triple burner energy centers, it's like a lack of hope. And then not being receptive to giving or receiving love. So fire element is all about those things. And so imagine if you have this stuff going on in your life, to have a hack to be able to go in and be like, okay, what's going on with me right now? You go in, you identify the pathology, you identify the issue that you're having because of that, the response to that issue, and then the primary question, and then you have the ability and a tool to clear that. so that you no longer have to carry that stuck and stagnant emotional pathology. And then you imprint a new proclamation for yourself to replace that negative primary question. And then your shift and your growth and your transformation gets to occur. So the next element is the earth element. Whoa. And for me, this is where we hold a lot of our money shit. Because one of the big things of the earth element, when it's out of balance, and it's 5 spirit, the yi is out of balance, we have an inability to set clear intention, to have clear ideation, and we have an inability to cultivate our true path. What ends up happening is that we end up having stagnation with our manifestation because we have an inability to transform ideas into action. So if you're that person that has difficulty cultivating your true path, it's like you get lots of ideas, but then you have a real hard time transforming those into action. And so as a result of that, your manifestation is stagnant. The earth element is really where we can bring that stuff into balance. Earth element is also a lot about worry. And this is where, where we overgive. We have difficulty taking in support and nourishment, but we're constantly overgiving and supporting and nourishing others when there's imbalances here. If you're not feeling supported by the people in your life, if you're not feeling nourished by the people in your life, if you're not feeling centered or stable, having difficulty with mental clarity, feeling like you're not understood, this is the place where this can be brought back into balance for you. Likewise, if you have an eating disorder, it's likely that you have some earth pathology that can be cleared out that can help you get on top of that. So there's 2 organs in the earth element, the spleen and the stomach. And some pathology that can be stuck and stagnant in the spleen is worry and doubt and lack of stability, cynicism, rejection, if you're having issues feeling rejected, envy, if you're feeling envious of other people, like this can really have to do with spleen imbalance. Where we disguise and repress our needs is very much in the stomach. Where we get disappointed in people, where we feel like we always need to keep the peace. We need to step into that peacekeeper role. And where we can feel like people are criticizing us, or we can be quite critical of others, is here. And the type of primary questions that we imprint here as a result of that is like, who will give me the support and nourishment that I need? How can I become centered and stable? How can I get what I want from the world? How can I feel I belong? If you have issues feeling like you belong, like this is earth element stuff, who will really understand me? So there's a lot of worthiness and deserving stuff that comes up in earth, which is why I think it's so closely tied to money. So anytime I'm having money issues in my life, or I'm feeling lack, or I'm feeling scarcity, I immediately go into the earth element to identify what's going on with me. And I can test into which organ, is it the spleen or the stomach? And then I can literally go down, there's a list here, and I'll be providing you with these sheets in tomorrow's clearing class. But you can literally go down the list and identify what the emotional pathology is that's stuck or stagnant for you. And then you can figure out what the issue is, what your response to that issue is, and what primary question you've been imprinting as a result of this pattern that you've created. So money stuff, earth. Then we move into metal. So metal is all about our primal animal instincts, okay? But the beauty of metal is when it's in balance, we have the ability to appreciate the preciousness of the moment. We have balanced emotions when our metal element is imbalanced, and then we have powerful intuition. So if you have difficulty tapping into your intuition, if you're somebody who feels like you're constantly seeking, if you're having issues finding inspiration and meaning in your life, if you feel like you're in that kind of existential crisis, like why am I even here? This is metal stuff. If you feel like you're constantly seeking external recognition and approval, this is metal stuff. You don't feel adequate. Perfectionism is definitely a lung organ thing in metal. If you're constantly searching for meaning in things, right? Like if you find that you're quite judgy, or you constantly feel like you're being judged. This can be lung stuff. And the other organ of the metal element is the large intestine. So in the large intestine, this is where we have our issues with our father figures and authority figures in our life. This is where we can feel quite cynical. Overwhelm is a huge metal element thing. If you're feeling overwhelmed, you literally can immediately come into this element, into the large intestine, identify what the issue, response, and primary question is, and clear it out using the acupressure points. Like, for me, I'm a person that gets overwhelmed, or was a person that got overwhelmed quite easily. And since I've had this hack, it's like I don't get that anymore. I also am a person that perfectionism has been a big, big problem the majority of my life. I don't have that problem anymore either, because I have the ability to go in with this hack and clear it out. So, yeah, some questions that come up in the metal element is, what will give my life meaning? Am I really okay? What do I need to be complete? How can I find inspiration and meaning? How can I connect to the world? So this is, this element is a lot about just being able to tap into our own intuition. And I really believe like a balanced metal element has a very strong connection to the heavens, but also a very, very strong connection to their primal animal instincts as a very 3D being. So metal element is my favorite. I'm actually a metal constitutional factor. I'll be talking a little bit about that on the workshop tomorrow. It's not super, super relevant, but if you're really into this and you start digging this stuff, you can go have a diagnostic session with my business partner, Michelle Patrick, and she can tell you what your constitutional factor is, which is your weakest link and also your superpower. And once you have that information, like it's so powerful for you, really, like to be able to have that information and know, because your constitutional factor is where you constantly need to be bringing yourself into balance. So metal is that for me. So 2 more elements that I want to tell you about. The water element. So the water element is all about wisdom and willpower. So this is where we get our power, will from, and our wisdom, and where we return to origin, where we return to the truth of who we are as a being that's part of an ancestral lineage. So if you've got issues with drive, like you're having issues with motivation or drive, forgetfulness, you have addiction issues, addictive patterns that show up. Fear is the overriding emotion of water. So if you feel anxious and anxiety, like this is where those imbalances live. And for me, it's like, this is where we, like our will is so important. So if you're alternating between, feeling like you have a strong will and then you enter into states of paralyzed will, when we operate from our midbrain, our fight, freeze, it's very much here in water element imbalance. And the whole entire planet has a water element imbalance right now because we're being so controlled and manipulated using fear-based tactics. And so this is a place where we all constantly need to be attempting to bring ourselves back into balance. If you have issues like you're constantly needing reassurance, you don't have drive, sexual insecurity, or issues with sexuality, definitely water element imbalance. If you're a super over controlling person, have difficulty relinquishing control, this is water element stuff. Definitely can go in, hack that issue to need to control, and start bringing yourself back into balance. Issues feeling safe, and then trust issues. All of this stuff exists in the water element. So how amazing if you're really struggling with trust issues in relationships, to be able to come in and be like, okay, what's going on with me? Identify it, clear it out. So some of the questions here that we deal with in water is, how can I deal with danger? Who can I trust? Where will I be safe? How can I be reassured? And how can I cultivate my true power? So it's like cultivation of true power is why we bring water element into balance. And then finally we have the wood element. Wood element for me is like very much about power, but it's also vision. So it's being able to vision, knowing our true path, being able to tap into our imagination, and then being able to actualize our vision. So when we feel powerless, like, this very much comes from wood element. Those of you that have boundary issues, you either overstep your own boundaries that you make for yourself, or you allow people to overstep your boundaries. This comes from wood element imbalance. Some questions that we look at here in wood element is, why can't I have what I want? Why don't I have the power? Why can I organize some things and not others? Why have I been blocked or stopped in some way? And what do I really want? So wood element people, when they're out of balance, again, like, it's like they can get the vision, but they can't hold the vision. They can't actualize the vision. And so really, like, that's what we do. That's what we bring into balance when we work within wood element. We have two organs here, the liver and the gallbladder. The liver is where you store your repressed anger, rage, where you get pissed off, where you get frustrated. Like, that's all in liver. So, and then gallbladder is like, if you're showing up very passive aggressively, got passive aggressive behavior, if you're having issues with like not having an ability to create change in your life, not having an ability to create transformation, like, that comes from gallbladder imbalance. If you feel overall like discontent or resentful, that's gallbladder stuff. If you're bored, if you're indecisive, that's gallbladder stuff. So if you're having issues with any of those things, we literally can come in here and clear them out. So this is the element of like, when you're struggling with personal development and self-development, you know, those of you that are continuing to take class after class after class and you can't seem to like actually create the transformation or move forward, it's wood element stuff. So, you know, and we use acupressure points on the body, the actual acupressure points, to clear this emotional pathology from the body. So this sounds a little bit woo-woo, right? But it's all backed in science. And we're using ancient proven techniques to actually release emotional pathology. And so that may sound a little bit too good to be true. Like, how do we just release it? Like, how does that work? But what we're doing is we're actually triggering through those acupressure points the body to go into the organ and release the trapped emotion. This has 100% been the most powerful practice that I have done in my life. When I regularly began clearing myself of my stuck and stagnant emotional pathology, my entire life changed. I went from having inconsistent financial months to having consistent financial months that went on and have continued to go on an upward trajectory. I got to know myself at such a deeper level. I have control over, and not in a like bad over controlling way, but I get to have control over how I'm experiencing life and not be in this constant reactive state. So I get to be proactive and objective and neutral when life happens for me, instead of feeling like, oh, life's happening to me and now I have to be reactive, and then I'm, you know, popping off, or I'm, you know, repressed emotions coming out sideways. Like, that doesn't happen to me anymore because I have this incredible tool. And I want to share it with all of you. I'm so excited about this workshop that I'm doing tomorrow. Probably be a 3-hour workshop. It's at 10 a.m. Bali time tomorrow morning. So that's 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific, and 1 o'clock AEST. It will be recorded, so if you can't join on the live, you can definitely catch the replay. It's going to be a really incredible 3 hours. I'm going to dive into the practical application of this modality so that you know how to do this for yourself. You're literally going to walk away with these clearing sheets and a process that you can go through to know how to do this for yourself, to be able to start this journey of clearing your own stuck and stagnant emotional pathology. So would love for you to join me tomorrow. I'm super excited about this. Like, it's been a long time coming, wanting to be able to share this, and I just really had to get clear on what the best way was to do it, to protect the integrity of the modality and still be able to give you a really solid tool where you could start to really experience some pretty massive transformation. Anyone can do this. Like, anyone and everyone can do this for themselves. It just takes a little bit of practice. So if you're watching on Facebook, I just dropped you the link to the Intro to ERC workshop. If you're watching on Instagram, the link is in my bio. So you can definitely go there and register. And I hope to see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Mwah! Love you guys. Have an amazing rest of your day, morning, evening, wherever you are in the world as you're watching this live stream or you're catching the replay. Remember, you are the most powerful creator in your reality. And with tools like this, you absolutely have the ability to hack your life and create the life that you deeply desire. That's it. Bye-bye.